come back. We'll come back. Hello to everybody around the world and the galaxies unknown. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new, this is the most awesome YouTube channel around. So go now, click the subscribe button. Subscribe to this channel because we have lit content out here. Honestly, we do. We talk about natural hair, we do challenges, we do story times, and so much more content that will keep you glued to your screen endlessly, learning and growing. Go ahead and click the subscribe button right now. Also, don't forget to click the bell button so that you're notified every time another awesome video is on your screen. It occurred to me that every time we were in youth camp and we had question answer sessions, this question would always come up. What do I do when I like a boy? Or what do I do when I like a girl? And we, the older youth, would always be like, oh my God, what a stupid question. Like, it's so obvious. And like the pastors would always be like, you have no business in the relationship unless you're ready to get married. And that was literally what we grew up knowing the answer to that question was. However, we still got into relationships. Okay. So today I'm here to give you guys real practical tips that will help you to decide and know what to do when you have those feelings, those stirrings in your heart for a person. What do you do when you want to touch the fire even though you know it's going to burn you? This is gonna be an interesting topic. Because the truth is, you're gonna want to touch that fire, even though you know it burns. So without further ado, let's jump straight into this video. Lego. If you haven't already, grab yourself a notebook, grab yourself a pen. Make sure you watch this video all the way until the end. Comment below what other questions you have with regards of what you should do when you like somebody. Don't forget to share this video with other people around you because they might need this advice too. Share it with your younger siblings. This is information that is relevant not only to young people, but also to anybody who is just in the single and ready to mingle category. Okay, let's get straight into these tips. Tip number 1 is start talking. Usually when we like somebody is because we've seen them from afar off. This is a tall, dark-skinned, beautiful man, and you're just like, woo! Woo, help me, Jesus, help me not to look because my soul, Lord, is yours. And usually we don't actually know much about this person. So the best thing to do is to start talking. This allows you to get to know a little bit more, to know whether they're actually smart or they're really dumb, to get to know whether they like the same things as you, whether you have anything in common. Don't just let time go by you just liking this person, because eventually, if they start liking you back or they make a pass at you, you might allow them, and then you turn it later, and then you later on discover that you don't actually like this person. So make sure you get to know this person first. What do they like? What are they like? Are they kind? Are they mean? Do they hate Jesus? Do they put ice cream between their burgers? You know, all that weird stuff. Like, these are things that you want to know. So make the effort to get to know these things, and don't rely on other people's opinions about them. Make sure you hear it from the horse's mouth themselves. So you talk to them not in a way that you're interrogating them, but just casually getting to know them. Tip number 2 is hang out with friends in public. So once you've gotten to know this person, you guys are on talking terms, you can now start to hang out with one another. Hanging out with people is important because then you see how that person interacts with other people. So this prevents, or this leaves out room for somebody who's pretending to be somebody they're not. Because when you're around other people, you have so many personalities, and if this person is a pretender, they'll want to fit in with every single personality around. So make sure that you hang out with them in a public setting around people. You see how they behave to janitors, see how they behave to security guards. Are they always respectful? Are they always nice? Do they fall into the category of somebody that you would like to be with? Because ultimately, when we like somebody, the thoughts that are going through our minds is, oh, this is someone I could be with. That's what liking somebody is. Anyway. Tip number 3, and probably the most important tip, is prepare yourself for rejection. Guys, I cannot stress this enough, ne? Just because you are pursuing something doesn't mean that you deserve it. Does not mean you're the only one making that pursuit. Does not mean that this person is obliged to accept you and to like you back. If you prepare for rejection, you can save yourself from a lot of potential pain. Do not put labels on people and make them as though they are yours, guys. You will end up in pain. Nobody is yours until they sign a marriage certificate. They are not yours. So you need to establish this in your mind from the very, very beginning. Otherwise, you're gonna find yourself hurt. This person might, even from the beginning, they might reject talking to you. They might reject hanging out with you and your friends. And when you are rejected, all you need to do is take your L and know that you are an awesome person, and anybody will be privileged to have you in their circles or to get to know you. So you don't ever have to feel like, oh, this person rejected me, my life is over. No, it's them who are missing out, not you. So you take your L and you go, child. Go out the door. I know you're probably saying, oh, Shalom, it's not as easy as it sounds. That is true. But if you mentally prepare yourself for it, it makes it a lot easier. Like, accepting rejection is a lot easier when you kind of saw it coming. So you'll be like, oh, this happened. I knew something like this would happen. And it helps you to move forward. Tip number 4, talk about it with somebody you trust. Now, this is so important. This can be somebody like your mom or an older sibling. I strongly advise that you ask somebody who has already been in relationships or who you think is mature enough to understand. I don't advise you asking like one of your peers, because most likely you guys would have had the same level of inexperience, and this person might give you really terrible advice that you will regret in the future. So ask somebody who you know has your best interest at heart, somebody who you know is experienced, and somebody who you know will give you sound advice and will think about it first. You also don't want to ask somebody who is very abrupt with their answers. Like, there's some people who will just tell you straight up, like, don't do this, don't do this. That's not who you want to ask. You want to ask somebody who will take their time, listen to your situation, analyze it with you, go through the different yeses and nos, and actually explain to you what they think you should do next. Now, please don't do this for every single person who you see on the street and you like. I'm talking about somebody who you have started to speak to, who you've started to hang out with, and who hasn't rejected you, and who you, when you think that something is going somewhere, don't put so much of an investment and start talking about a person who you know things might not even go anywhere with, because in doing that you might start to create this false narrative in your head, and you start believing that, oh, you and this person are going somewhere, and it will feel like so much progress when you're not going anywhere. So take these tips one by one. Don't just jump to the gun and already start talking about somebody who has zero interest in you. It's gonna be a lot more work to forget them when you've already invested so much and you've gone as far as doing things like telling your mama about them. Don't do that, fam. Don't do that. Tip number 5 is to do a self-check. Now, when you realize that you're becoming so invested in somebody and you're talking about them all the time, do a self-check. This check has nothing to do with the person. It's not about, do they make you happy? Are they kind to you? This has nothing to do with them, and this has everything to do with you. Ask yourself these important questions. Is this really what I want? How is this gonna affect my future? What do I want for the future? Do I want to travel? Do I want to go to university far away? Is being with somebody gonna stop me from achieving my dreams? Do I need to focus on myself more? How is my time management? Do I have space to be spending time with another person so much? Am I doing well enough in school to accommodate another person in my life? Do I constantly have to lie to see this person? Am I gonna become a better person? Am I going to have friction with my parents? Am I going to have friction with my friends? Do I have enough time to feed my dogs? Do I have enough time to exercise? Do I have enough time to plan my life? All those things. You need to take an account of whether this person coming into your life is going to be beneficial for you as an individual. Because at the end of the day, what matters most is you and your future and what you want. So don't ever allow your feelings to take precedent over your needs and your wants as an individual, because feelings tend to do that. They tend to think they're the boss of us, and they tend to think that they can just come and overtake all of our plans. But not you, sis, not you, bro, because you've been educated in this video. So go ahead and click the like button if you haven't already, even as we go into the final tip, which is tip number 6. Tip number 6 is back on or back off. As you were going through the first 5 steps, you would have realized whether this is something you want or something you don't want. If it's something you don't want, the next thing you need to do is back off. So feelings can be a very complicated thing, and oftentimes, especially if the person you're dealing with is someone who was already your friend or somebody who you've known for many years or who you've grown up with, it might feel difficult to back off, but trust me, you need all the space that you can get. The saying out of sight, out of mind is a very powerful saying, and in order to get somebody out of your mind, sometimes you have to get them out of your sight. Now, if this is somebody who's always going to be in your life, for example, you guys go to the same church or you go to the same school, it might be harder than ever, but you can do it temporarily. For example, if you guys go on holiday, just make sure that you don't speak to that person throughout the holiday so that you can get all your emotions in order. And when you guys come back, you'll see that it will be easier to relate with them, continue to be friends with them, and your feelings can totally go away. However, if you do realize that this is the person who you want to be with, I'm not going to judge anybody because I know people who've met the love of their lives in grade 5. So I'm not going to make any statements about age or anything. But if you decide that it's on, then I advise you to proceed with caution. Continue to speak to this person, continue to be friends with this person, let them meet more of your family, more of your friends, and just make sure there's a strong, accountable web around you guys to protect both you and your feelings and to protect them. However, just because you've decided to back on, if at any point you feel as though this person is not taking you where you want to go or their values don't align with yours, then sis, bro, it's time to back off. Also, I think it's very important that I emphasize that don't ever allow anybody to make you do something that you're not comfortable with. Peer pressure is a prominent issue that you deal with all your life, no matter what age you're at, whether you're 17 or you're 27. When you see people your age doing something, you feel like you should do that thing as well. And when you surround yourself with somebody, or when you have somebody who's close to you and they're doing something, you're gonna feel like doing it as well. So don't ever lie to yourself and think that you can be in a relationship with somebody and not become like them. You guys will become like each other. And romantic relationships are usually a lot closer than casual friendships. So if this person is going in a different direction, then you feel free to jump off of that train at any time. You're not bound to anybody unless you've signed a marriage certificate. So that being said, I hope these tips were helpful. Please do comment down below. Let me know what other questions that you guys have. Comment down below other videos that you'd like to see me make based on relationship advice, tips. Last week I hit 100 subscribers and I just want to thank you guys so much. I'm so stoked that there's 100 people who are interested in what I have to say on a weekly basis. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like this video once again, and thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much. Until next time, goodbye. I got to